Cinder? Hey. How apropos. Oh my gosh, it's a freaking barn in here. I got both cats and one of the dogs in here. I normally don't do stuff like this, but I don't know, this one got me really intrigued. What up guys, OtterPop here, and today I will be watching and commentating on the pilot of Lackadaisy. Now, I had never heard of this before. I only kind of found out relatively recently that it was originally like a webcomic of sorts from like 2006. And honestly, I've been really falling in love with all kinds of webcomics lately, on webtoons for the most part, and that is partially because I do have a webcomic of my own. It's called Hunters. It's traditionally drawn. It has more than 180 pages at the moment, and it's still ongoing. But regardless, this is one that is from like the mid-2000s. Okay, dude. Okay, he's not happy that my dog is staring at him. Ain't that right, bud? So what I understand of this is that this takes place during the Prohibition era, so, you know, the 1920s, when alcohol was sort of banned and outlawed in a lot of places by the 18th Amendment, I believe it was, and the characters are all anthropomorphic cats, which is why I said it was apropos that Cinder decided to mule at me. But I don't know, based on the animation shots that I saw, and based on, you know, the general premise of the story, I thought that it could be really interesting to watch. I don't know what caught my attention with the trailer, but something just really, really caught my interest, and I'm not entirely sure why, and I was really, really curious to be seeing this. Again, and from what I understand, this is an entirely crowd-funded project, which is freaking awesome. I know that there was maybe a couple hundred people that were working on this, from voice actors to animators to set designers and stuff like that, and that's just impressive as hell. The original webcomic must have been something else, and that's what makes me super interested. So, I am going to watch this. I'm going to see if I can commentate from a little bit of a historical perspective, because I do know a little bit about Prohibition. Not too much, but I do know little bits and pieces. But I'm also going to examine this from an art and writing standpoint as well, because, you know, those are kind of my thing. So if you're looking for a reaction, go somewhere else. I'm here to provide some commentary and analysis. Occasional flashing lights, gun violence and alcohol consumption. For best experience, we recommend listening with headphones. Oh, goody. Iron Circus Animation. St. Louis, Missouri, 1927. And if I'm understanding correctly, Prohibition, yeah. Lackadaisy, I think, is the name of the establishment, if I'm remembering reading correctly. I think. Wow.
Old Man River. That seems far too austere a name for something made of mirth and rage. Oh, roiling red blood river vein, if chief among your traits is age, you're a wily, convoluted sage.
That's a musical
thing
talent.
to call what rings the vernal heart of Western lore.
That's a beautiful shot.
Brings us brassy, myth-made kings. And preponderance of bug-type things. To challenge titans come before! Oh, demiurge to a try at Avalon once more.
Wow.
And what a gust vitality in your wide aorta stream. You must have had to oversee alchemic change of timber beam to iron, brick, and engine steam. Your umber whiskey waters lends the prideful, sober sovereignty, a faulty haloed temperance, and wilt her self-sure countenance. Yes, righteousness is vanity. But sports for imps, not elderly. So, if there's a name for migrant mass of veteran frivolity,
Wow, these are gorgeous shots.
Seas of prairie grass and groves of summer sassafras. A name that
Sassafras.
flows as roguishly as wild waters fast and free. It's your true name. Mississippi.
That was a really... That was poetry coming from this guy. And, okay, so I definitely have a couple things to talk about already. I am willing to bet that that is from the web... That little, like... Oh, what is the word that I'm looking for? I can't think of the right word, but the closest I can come up with at the moment off the top of my head is monologue. But that little monologue that he was kind of, you know, letting slowly trickle out of his mouth every now and then, with definitely some poetry rhyme schemes to it. I'm willing to bet that that was in the original webcomic, and that really, I don't know, that says a lot about his character. I feel like he seems like somebody who is in his own ways very elegant and classy. Those are the vibes that I'm getting off this guy so far. And the panning shots, especially, were gorgeous. I absolutely loved the lighting on some of these. Like, just look at this. Look at these colors. It's so vibrant.
Groves of summer sassafras.
I'm seriously, I mean, look at these. Look at these freaking colors, man. I just love how, again, most of it is gold, and I imagine that that's kind of the point, because this was right before the hit of the Great Depression, which was, I want to say, if I remember correctly, October 29th, 1929 was when the stock market crashed, but Prohibition was set into effect in, I want to say 1921 or 22? When was that? Okay, it was 1920. Okay, Prohibition started in 1920. That's when the 18th Amendment was signed into the Constitution, which is basically the banning of alcoholic sales. There were plenty of people that did try and get around it, and there were plenty of places, especially in the South, where there were speakeasies all over the place. These hidden little bars and these gems of places. And Mississippi was definitely one of the well, actually, when he's talking about Mississippi, he's probably talking about the Mississippi River. So he could be in Mississippi or the state adjacent to it. I'm having trouble with geography. Is that Louisiana? If I looked at it, I'd be able to tell you exactly which state, but for some reason that's hard to visualize in my head at the moment. If this took place in New Orleans, man, that place was full of speakeasies and people who had no problem drinking wherever they could find it. It's New Orleans. I've been there too. I've seen, granted it was during COVID times, but I've seen what that looked like. And there are so many of these cities that were so rife with speakeasies that they would just be seen as these gold and silver gems of cities amongst, you know, all the dullness of the rest of the states who... there were some places that were very adamant about trying to keep the alcoholic sales under control, and you know there were some that just went with what the government said and were like, okay, I guess we're gonna be banning all the alcohol. But there are some cities that cared a little bit less, and plenty that had all these speakeasies pop up all over the place. And that's probably what this character is referring to. Elegy. Is that the word I'm looking for? Elegy? A poem of serious reflection, typically a lament for the dead. Okay, but I'm pretty sure that elegy was the word that I was thinking of. I don't always do this, especially because it was a little bit of a long spiel, but I want to listen to his elegy again. I tried to catch some of it, but I was also blown away by the animation. And speaking of the animation, let's see if I can find it.
To iron, brick, and engine!
So I don't know if you can see it, but there are all kinds of little rough lines that are sort of intertwined with the animation as the character is moving around. I love that style of animation. It's not perfection. It has these lines that are sort of included with the animation of the character itself are sort of original animation lines that are included with the final result, which I see it as a perfect imperfection. I find that style of animation gorgeous, and in some cases you can barely see them, and sometimes they will kind of disappear and pop back up. but I love the inclusion of stuff like this. I don't know why. I'm kind of a sucker for stuff like this, especially for indie or crowdfunded projects like this. It almost gives it this, what's, I can never think of the words that I'm looking for right off the top of my head. I can imagine, or I can think about what I'm trying to say, but I can't actually say it. I guess the best way for me to explain it is it gives animation like this a personality that I don't know, it's a personality type that I love to see with little animation pieces like this. It's so freaking cool, and sometimes it does make me wish so hard that I could animate myself in a sense. The most of my work is traditional, which, technically speaking, traditional animation is a thing, but I never really learned how to do that stuff, and I'm still kind of learning traditional art to begin with. I am trying to work on creating animatics, which, I don't know, could pave the way for me doing some kind of, like, simple animations way down the road, but I'm not gonna go too deep down the rabbit hole right now. I'm gonna listen to this elegy again. I won't listen to it a third time, but I really want to listen to it again.
Old Man River.
Old Man River?
That seems far too austere a name for something made of mirth and rage.
Okay.
Oh, roiling red blood river vein. If chief among your traits is age, you're a wily, convoluted sage. Is old the thing to call what rings the vernal heart of Wester lore? It brings us brassy, myth-made kings. And preponderance of bug-type things. To challenge titans come before! Oh, demiurge to a try at Avalon once more.
Wow. Now I know
And
he's
what a
talking about the
gust
Mississippi.
vitality in your wide aorta stream. You must have had to
okay.
oversee alchemic change of timber beam to iron, brick, and engine steam. Your umber whiskey waters lance the prideful, sober sovereignty of faulty haloed temperance and wilt her self-sure countenance.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, righteousness is vanity. But sports for imps, not elderly. So, if there's a name for migrant mass of veteran frivolity that snakes through seas of prairie grass and groves of summer sassafras,
Wow.
a name that flows as roguishly as wild waters, fast and free. It's your true name. Mississippi.
Okay, now that I know that he's talking about the Mississippi, and I listened to some of the words more carefully, I'm thinking it's one of two things. This was either in the original webcomic, or this is like a famous poem or quote or clip from a story from the 1920s or 30s. I'm not sure. It's definitely one of those two. That was quite an elegy to the Mississippi. Wow. That was beautiful. Wow. That's all I can say, honestly. I'm just gonna be wondering where that came from.
It's abundantly clear you forgot us down here.
Encore? No encore?
Please, no, that's plenty.
We're fine.
Should I add a dance? Extra stanzas?
Oh yeah,
Explore where
definitely
that
some.
came from.
Please don't ruin musical theater for everyone.
I'm not sure lookouts are supposed to make such a ruckus anyway. Why don't you come down here and grab a shovel?
Alas, Miss Pepper, I was cursed
Pepper.
with these spaghetti arms. So, I do what I can. I provide the
Nicely done. Nice. So she's Pepper, I believe. Don't tell me the violin is ruined. Okay, it's not ruined, thank goodness.
I provide the ambiance. Babyface provides the muscle. Look at him digging his way to martyrdom, the little go-getter. Now, how about a little rhapsody in G minor for company?
Fine. If you're not gonna help us work, you're gonna have to double as the dirt rag.
Oh,
Rocky? I think I found...
Pepper and
Is that
Rocky.
it?
Well, if it isn't, we'll have some awkward explaining to do to the family of, Herman Hapfemspiel?
Herman Hopfenspiel. Herman Hopfenspiel. I think. Was struck by a runaway circus calliope near the terminus of Biddle Street, whereupon, in a cacophony of frenzied glee, he was flung bodily into the Mississippi. I couldn't help but say it like that. Requiring the painstaking efforts of the number 26th Firehouse Brigade, his remains were later disentangled from the paddle wheels spokes of the SS Albatross, having been rearranged into an impressive Merovingian knot. He died doing what he loved, remarked his stoical widow, by whom he is survived, alongside a niece, a nephew, several southern cousins, a shoe-wearing donkey named Pibbles, and a prized collection of 64 fashionable soup farms, maybe? I don't know. Housed as West End residents. Services are to be held Monday next at the East City Willow Chapel? Why are some of these things circled and outlined? Does it actually matter? What's the importance of Southern West 26 64? Oh, wait a minute. 26 South 64 West. Oh, they're coordinates. Oh, that would actually make sense. I'm real curious about something. Okay, I must not fully understand how to figure out degrees and longitude and latitude. Oh my good Lord in heaven. I was wondering, because it was 26 south. That puts that in somewhere in South America in Argentina. So those aren't coordinates? What? Wait, then what's the significance of them being circled and underlined and stuff? Okay, I might be overthinking it, but I don't know. I feel like there's more to it than this is being let on. Okay, so Pepper is the female black cat, and then the grayish tabby is Rocky, but we don't know the Ginger Tom's name yet. Not as far as I know.
Herman Hapfemspiel?
Hopfenspiel. Something like that. Okay.
Did you hear
All
something?
these unresting spirits were trespassing on their turf. But there's naught ye can do about it, ye feisty devils!
I wish my mom was here.
What? Blasphemy! That force of nature, she'd stop us dead.
I know.
Oh, Freckle. Don't
Freckle.
tell me you aren't having a good time showing off your shoveling skills for Hotsy-Totsy over here.
Their tails are all fluff.
Gora! Oh, for a moment there, I thought it was your mom.
This is why I don't go around of spirits, digging up graves, and sacrilege, and
Settle down, cousin.
Oh,
Spirits are all bottled up.
I was literally just about to ask if Freckle and Rocky disagree on stuff, then how in the heck do they even know about each other? I suppose what should have clued me in initially was Freckle talking about his mom and Rocky being like, no. She would have said, don't do this, as if knowing her personally. But if they're cousins, that absolutely makes sense how they would be together. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, the frame rate. It is definitely not a super smooth frame rate, but I don't think that's a bad thing at all. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Into the Spider-Verse. The frame rate, I mean. Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that. It's just something I kind of noticed initially with some background elements, and then with more with the characters. Oh, well, that would be because I think at 24 frames per second is continuous, but this may be closer to like 12. I don't know quite enough about frame rates. I know little bits here and there, and I don't even really know basics. I just know kind of something here, something there. That would be my guess.
digging up graves, and sacrilege, and
Settle down, cousin. The spirits are all bottled up. 100 years past, Burke and Hare were up to much worse. And things turned out just fine for them.
Didn't they hang him?
Details, Freckle, details.
Now show me your crowbar skills.
How did they know Pepper?
Ah, liquid gold! Dionysian delight! Better still, Canadian whiskey!
Dionysian. You know, the great god of wine.
I think we should hurry.
I'll start the
There's
car.
whiskey in the jar. Leave the headlamps off. Can't be too careful.
Right, we've been so discreet up until now.
No! Don't let that get away! Miss Sam can't spare a drop! Murderation! Where's that spotlight when we need it, Miss Pepper? Well, now the spirits are afoot.
I got it.
No, that is my foot. That's not what I meant.
No, I can't see.
Ah, there it is.
Stop it.
You ought to be...
Oh my gosh. Oh, yep. I love that their tails get all like fluffed up.
Excuse me?
Look like we got some live ones tonight.
Yeah, say, boy, the chase is the best part.
Oh, she definitely has a southern accent. Oh, jeez. Well, yep, this seems like something that would happen in Prohibition.
Let's not prolong this. This is a trifling matter. We have other business to tend to.
Yeah, but none of it near as fun as this gonna be.
Can't let the competition go unchecked. Even a little vermin, they got a way of festering. Alon!
Oh
You
boy.
learned to drive like that.
I didn't!
Oh dear.
Didn't?
Learn to
Well,
drive!
you're so bad at it, you've confounded the enemy. Nicely done.
Oh dear.
Get confounded! Get confounded!
And skedaddle.
Now we need a performance from you, Torpedo Boy.
No.
Yes, yes, yes.
I was about to say, that's
Don't
not a
be
guitar,
modest.
that's a gun.
Play us a symphony.
Oh boy.
What's going on back
I
there?
am loving the music. Oh.
What the?
I guess this one is the big.
Look, stay with me.
Oh dear. Freckle? I am loving the music here.
I think I swallowed a bug.
You got a big fat bad bed for dinner? Who's fair?
Nah, just more glass.
Profoundly unprofessional.
Well, they got more firepower than I expected. But you want to take over driving back there?
No. Especially now that you have alleviated us of our windshield.
Oh, you don't like how we play? How about you stop spectating and throw in, Chef? Or do we have to worry about you getting sentimental about old times?
Brakes!
Freckle can go beast mode. Oh my gosh. Oh, yep. That'll do it. Oh my gosh, this music is banger. It's got such 1920s vibes with a modern feel.
Sinister! Port!
There's no left here!
Use your imagination, Miss Pepper!
Rocky, I can't steer!
Oh boy. Oh my gosh. Wow. Holy crap, that was one hell of an action scene. That was... Oh my gosh, that lasted probably a good, like, almost 3 minutes, I think. That didn't even quite feel like it, but that was kind of intense. We got to see a lot of all these characters' personalities for one thing, but wow, the animation was really good. And I think my favorite part of that was the soundtrack. Did you hear that music? That was banger. That was so good. Okay, so this is an interesting trio right here, that their personalities from the initial first couple of minutes have gained completely new traits in the single action scene alone. Pepper is most assuredly very sassy, but also gives off... I'm getting the vibe that she's the youngest and most inexperienced of them. In part because, you know, she never learned how to drive or anything like that. But she apparently is some kind of No, she wasn't the muscle. She wasn't even the lookout. She was... I think she mostly seems to function as the getaway driver. Whether that's frequent or not, I'm not entirely sure, but given that she doesn't know how to drive, I'm willing to bet maybe not. Rocky seems to be the most experienced of these guys. He seems to have a class and an elegance, but also perhaps a little bit of unhinged nature. Freckle definitely has some unhingedness about him. Like he was all, I don't know how I feel about, you know, doing this and, you know, practically digging up a grave and stuff like that. But then as soon as he got the gun and he was firing, oh my gosh, he went beast mode. He seemed like the sensible, calm, unsure, chill guy of the trio. But as soon as you gave him a gun, he let loose. I was not expecting that. I should have. I've seen the trailer. How did I not see that come? How did I not see it coming that he was just gonna let loose like that? Oh my word. Well, and then you had these 3 new characters. I imagine some kind of... Because I'm pretty sure that in Prohibition, there were mostly various gangs that were operating. Al Capone and his gang being one of them, being one of the most notable ones for sure. But there were lots of different gangs that were operating around this time, trying to, you know, get the best liquor and alcohol to sell at their speakeasies. And, you know, all the mobs and the mafias were starting to come to light in the underground. Some of them well-known, others less so. But it's no surprise that there are rival gangs or families that are at work here, because I'm willing to bet that they were only... that the other 3 characters, what I think are probably the more experienced guys compared to this weird arse trio, seem to also see the little newsletter posting and decipher the clues to figure out exactly where the liquor was going to be buried. So this trio, I'm not sure if they're on their own or if they're working for another smaller group that has yet to kind of sort of rise up in the ranks, I guess you could say. That's what it comes off to me as, given how inexperienced they seem, and how somewhat unprepared and naive they seem about a lot of things. But wow, that was a really good action sequence. That lasted a while too, but it did not feel like that. It still felt like it went by really fast. You good? Everybody good? Oh
is
my
it
word.
Playtime now? Do you think we're safe?
Oh geez.
Sorry. I didn't mean to. It's just that there's a fire, a burning hot fire in the engine compartment.
Oh man.
Radiator!
Wow. She kind of seems like she knows what she's doing with engines, though. Remember what I was saying about his unhingedness? Yeah. I don't know what his deal is right now. How batshit crazy is he?
Oh, the world is full of magic things. I just need a ticket to ride.
Located.
Well, I'm nearly out of sleeves and ideas. The engine is still too hot. I don't even know if
You
it'll...
said there was a pistol in here somewhere?
There's always one wedged in the seat. Well, I guess that's a gun.
Technically, yes.
I'll draw them away. You start the car. Please.
Please.
This is going to take longer if you scatter them.
What happened to you that made you hate fun?
He's trying to be efficient about
I'll
it.
take care of that. Disable the vehicle.
Oh boy.
Raspberries!
Yeah, old cars worked very differently than new cars do. That much is for sure. Oh dear. Such a little itty bitty gun. I don't know the names of these three characters though. I just know. Ooh. Freckles got the high ground. Oh yeah, what's that thing called? The it's not like a crank, but something similar. Oh, scheisse.
No, 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 no! No!
5, 6.
Ooh. Hit.
Bonsoir, mes amis.
Ooh. Oh my good lord.
Child, this is 11 kinds of stupid.
The sudden circus comes to town.
Oh my word in heaven.
And the top hat loud. Come gather,
He's
gather
insane.
all around. See them rain their fire down.
He's insane. Oh dear. Sorry, my sister got home, the animals started freaking out, but it was a good time to pause anyways, because, oh my gosh, Rocky is insane. He is, with Freckle and the gun, I thought he was a little unhinged. Rocky, 10 times worse. Oh my word in heaven, he absolutely lost it.
Bonsoir, mes amis.
Mes amis. What in the heck? I know
Child, this is 11 kinds of stupid.
I know Prohibition made people do all kinds of stupid things, but damn.
The behemoth and the top hat loud. Come gather all around. See them rain their fire down.
So much rhyming and like poetry and stuff. Uh-oh.
What's happening?
Rocky.
Just Rocky.
You can brandish up your whip and chain, but the circus train's a blazing tear. Say, Head the clown with derriere. We'll make our 3 rings anywhere!
What is he saying? Oh dear, Rocky. You want to get out of there. Get out, Rocky, get out. Not all cats hate water that much. Some do, but not all.
Rocky!
Come on, Mudbug! We gotta skedaddle!
Oh, why do you let her go?
Are my eyebrows still on?
Yeah.
Yep.
Aces. Here, Freckle. I got you a souvenir. You're supposed to light it first.
I don't think he wanted to. Understandably, he just got shot in the head.
Nico! Brother mine, help me up.
Shit,
Ow.
you look disappointed.
They siblings? Yeah, I mean, he does look a little disappointed. Why did he let him go? I wonder if it was Pepper he saw specifically and that's why he let them go. I'm not entirely sure,
And
though.
though scrutinized and scandalized and troubled in the end by depleted finances. Familiar story. Miss Duncan leaves behind, moreover, a legacy of consummate artistry and bold innovation. Done in by a scarf. The comic end that makes the tragedy, doesn't it? Speaking of tragedy, we got an old supplier back. The funeral home. Still, it's not the same without you. And that feeling that all of this was ours.
Well, she lost somebody close, huh?
Used to be we could drive a whole convoy of trucks in.
Husband, maybe?
Now we're just digging for scraps. Well, however unbecoming, Atlas.
That
that's
face,
my
though.
cue. Meet you downstairs.
Atlas.
Miss M.
Horatio. The door, sweetheart.
Oh, right.
Oh! Thank you! Sister got me sushi. Oh, she got sushi. Well, she got like 2 different sushi things and just divvy them up and it's okay. I don't know. I guess she just wanted to get sushi, man. My sister had a rough day, so she just wanted sushi. Okay. So, I don't know her name, but she has / had a husband named Atlas. And they run a speakeasy. She / they run a speakeasy. And I'm willing to bet that she was the one who likely requested the trio of Rocky, Freckle, and Pepper to get that secret stash of liquor, which I don't know. The car stops kind of right outside her place, and she seemed to know them, and she looked horrified. If she didn't know who they were, she probably just would have been confused, like, what the heck? But no, she looked horrified, and she even said specifically, what was it that she said?
Now we're just digging for scraps.
Now we're just digging for scraps. So she / they must have been able to get a decent supply of liquor for a while, but couldn't for whatever reason. Maybe Atlas was the one who primarily supplied them, but he passed, and now she has to pick up the pieces, and she might not have the same connections. Because, again, this is still the 1920s, and this is still a loose representation of what Prohibition was like, more or less, if I'm understanding this correctly. But women don't always have a lot of power and influence, especially around that time period. So that could kind of all check out. That's where my mind is going. I could be completely wrong, but I'm willing to bet that at least some of that is true. Some of that little analysis random spiel is true.
Meet you downstairs.
Gotta say, she is very suave.
Miss M.
Horatio.
Miss M.
The door, sweetheart.
Oh, right.
Miss M. Okay. We don't know her first name. Gotcha. Oof. This is quite the slow speakeasy. You expect stuff like this to be way busier, I feel.
How's the weather, madam? Ah, right, the difficult business of a business.
You could certainly be of some help.
Except I'm supposed to be a pillar of the community, baron of industry, upstanding citizen, you know?
Upstanding citizen? Are you kidding? During Prohibition, there were plenty of individuals in law enforcement and federal agencies who would still go to these speakeasies and still uphold themselves as pillars of society and uphold laws for the people, but then completely break down that facade and would still go to speakeasies and do all the illegal business when it came to alcohol especially, and, you know, sometimes mob stuff and drugs and whatnot. It was not everybody did. Not everybody did. And there were still plenty of people who didn't even like that the speakeasies existed. I mean, there were plenty of people certainly who liked that prohibition was a thing, but man, it allowed so much rampant illegal activity to, well, run rampant, really.
Except I'm supposed to be a pillar of the community, baron of industry, upstanding citizen, you know?
He said, bent over his illicit beverage.
Oh, thank goodness, I wasn't sure you were alive.
Zeb, shouldn't you be up on stage playing?
For who?
Zeb.
That
Such
guy?
such a 1920s name.
How about you, Wick? Shall I serenade you personally?
Once I've had a few more illicit beverages, perhaps.
I suppose I could use one of those too. Victor?
Oh boy. Uh-oh. What's he see?
Victor, I know it's an adjustment, but the bartender's got to look like someone the patronage can tell their troubles to. More of a confidant, less of a coroner. Try smiling, honey. We'll work on it.
Hello.
We made it, everyone!
Sorry.
We made it!
About the carpet.
Did not help, Rock.
JJ!
Sorry.
Well, look what the Mississippi spat up.
Miss M, you seem, surprised.
Rocky, sweetie, you are nothing if not an exhausting, incomprehensible surprise.
Thank you!
This was supposed to be the real McCoy. Let's see if that's the surprise.
We shall see.
Well, it'll certainly start your engine.
Which is to say, it beats radiator fluid.
What's that aftertaste? Crisp, full-bodied, reminiscent of oak wood. Coffin varnish.
Yeah. We can call it Sunset Rose Cocktail.
Sunset Rose Cocktail? That sounds good. You have no idea what I went through to get this.
I have very good an idea.
You were saying.
Sophisticated flavor.
So,
All the cat
not bad
noises.
then?
Cool. Yeah, that's
Better
the
than
worst.
getting shot. Still, is this all we got for our money, honey? You look like you took a bath in the red.
Well, I could probably wring some more out of my coat for you. There was a minor incident.
Right on the speakeasy carpet.
Incidences.
The likes of what?
Oh, just some spent ammo and...
Desecrated graves.
Fractured signage, minor flooding, lots of structural damage.
We may have fomented a deadly rivalry on the way, too. But dynamite and heavy machinery are marvelous problem solvers. Old sport!
Dynamite? What dynamite?
And the car is fine.
I fixed it.
Also, you'll be happy to know my violin came through unscathed.
Nope.
I know you did your best, honey, but we can't keep running ourselves ragged and into the red to bring Omega. What I mean is, I don't see how this...
Okay, dude.
JJ!
Yeah, I was wondering.
You know what? I'm glad you and your violin are back, honey. We could all use some music about now. I mean, besides JJ.
All right, all right. Come on, kid. What do you say we go lighten the mood?
About the dynamite and machinery, can you elaborate?
Mr. Sable.
Right. Cheers.
Cheers.
You owe me a dance.
I do?
Yes, I've decided. You know the Charleston?
No.
The Lindy Hop?
No.
The Roundabout? The Jingle Jangle? The Pizza Noodle?
I have a head injury.
How does Miss M know the three? It seems like there's a bit of a personal connection there, just a slight bit. Yeah, I think Atlas passed. I'm willing to bet the business was booming when Atlas was around. Oh, hold up. Michael Kovac. I feel like I know that name from somewhere. Seraphine, Nicodeme. Oh, shocker that they have those names. Mordecai. Wait, Sungwon what? Wait. Isn't that like ProZD on YouTube? He also did the voice of Ratatoskr in God of War Ragnarok. I remember hearing about that. He's done a couple of other like little voice roles too. He was that guy? It didn't sound like it. I need to listen. I might need to listen to his voice again. Mitzi. Okay, her name is Mitzi. Then we have Zib. Okay, this guy's name is Wick. I don't really recognize these names. Okay, Miss M. Okay, that's why she has that name. Her name is Mitzi. Okay. JJ and Carnival Parker. Okay. Got it. Oh my goodness gracious. I gotta let these credits roll and you know, let everybody see just how many people went into this. Man, they got ProZD on their voice acting team. That's pretty freaking cool. I mean, he's been in well-known games, obviously, but still, that's awesome. Look at all these animators. Retakes and confirmation. Cleanup. Wow, a lot of cleanup artists. Holy crap. Production cat. Oh my god, everybody's cats. Wow. Sunset. Oh, there's a song there? Wow. Yeah, Lackadaisy's Patreon supporters. They must have had like permission from the original creator of the webtoon. Wow. Okay. Wow. Such a big team. What?
Manager's office.
Connect me to Mr. Sweet, please.
What?
Rather unfortunately, we were sidetracked. The vehicle has been disabled, and on the whole, the evening has not gone according to plan.
Let me see if I have this right. Ruthless, infamous hatchet man Mordecai Heller is calling me to ask for a ride.
Yes.
Yes. However, Mr. Sweet, it seems...
What am I, your dad?
It seems we have a more considerable problem at hand.
What, someone mussed your hair? You got some dirt on you?
As a matter of fact, yes. But more to the point, one of our suppliers appears to be double-dealing. To stragglers from Lackadaisy, of all things. They're clumsy and likely to draw attention. With the feds in town...
Yeah, that's a real liability.
And I can only stave off so much heat from the higher-ups before this whole city starts smoldering. Oh, those dragons.
Having given it some thought, it does appear to warrant our attention.
Right then. Time to tie up some loose ends.
Huh? Yeah. Who was the original creator of the Lackadaisy webcomic? Because I'm actually not entirely sure. Wow, they used a lot of different programs. Oh, Tracy J. Butler. Handmade by artists in their homes across the world in spite of it all. Oh, wow. I love that. Wow. Jazz Cat Dance Loop. Hold up, I'm kind of curious about this. Is that Pepper? That kind of looks like her. That is some smooth and clear animation. I'm loving this music. Like, again, it kind of reminds me of what I said earlier. It's like very clearly 1920s vibe, but it almost feels like there's a slightly modern take on it. Wow. Okay. So I was correct in what I read, in that Lackadaisy is the name of the speakeasy establishment. And the more I heard it, it did sound a little like Pro ZD, but his voice and his mannerisms in general are so different compared to like a lot of the official voice work that he does. But wow. Okay, so we learned a lot about what I assume are the four main characters, which are the trio, Rocky, Freckle, and Pepper, and then this Miss M, Mitzi, who seems to know at least Rocky and kind of by default Freckle personally. Possibly Pepper as well. I still don't know exactly what Pepper's connection is to Freckle and Rocky, but she does have some kind of connection to them. But Miss M knows them personally, possibly for a long time. I don't know for sure. I'm sure that there's a lot more information in the webcomic. This is coming from an individual who knows nothing about Lackadaisy, and this is just from the frickin' pilot episode. That means that there is very likely more to come. Because again, it's a pilot. So this could still be crowdfunded even more. They could already be working on an episode or two as is, in which case that would be awesome, because this seems really interesting, because the general basis of the story is rooted in history, because Prohibition was obviously a thing from throughout the entirety of the 1920s, and I think a little bit into the 1930s as well. Even after the Great Depression kind of tanked everything, but Prohibition was a thing, and I don't think this is based off of any real people or group. I am willing to bet that Tracy Butler, I think, if I remember the name correctly, the creator of the webcomic, I'm willing to bet did a ton of research into Prohibition, or was already familiar with a lot of it. I don't know exactly for sure. There was definitely a lot of research and thought put into this particular project, with the story, with the characters, with the designs of everything. Although in this case, a lot of the designs comes from the animators themselves, and a lot of the animation in particular. We learned so much about these characters, and I feel like to the untrained eye, somebody who wasn't really very familiar with Prohibition in general, might have gotten a little bit of a sense of what was going on here. But I feel like if you know what Prohibition is, and even if you have some of the basic knowledge of it, then a lot of things just make a lot more sense. And you already have some inside information ahead of time. I would love to see more of how these characters connect to each other and possibly even grow with one another. I mean, I think that's a little less likely to happen, but again, I don't know the original webcomic. I never read it, never even heard of it until some information about the pilot coming up came up in the last month or so. That was the first I'd ever heard of Lackadaisy. And I just find it amazing in general that a webcomic from almost 2 decades ago is suddenly getting animated by this team of passionate individuals who put so much thought into this. That really goes to show just how influential Lackadaisy was when it started, and I assume when it finished, because I don't think it's ongoing, from what I understand. But yeah, the colors and the designs and the backdrops, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And I love the semi-rough style of the animation. There are so many shots where you can just very easily see the sort of initial lines that were made when putting this whole animation together. And again, I mentioned before, I don't know why, but I absolutely love that. For whatever reason, I love that sort of semi-rough animation where it's like the initial shots are sort of blended in with the final product and the colors and the solidness of everything. I don't know. It's a really cool animation style. So this story is intended to follow the Lackadaisy Speakeasy and its connection or rivalry with other speakeasies in whatever town, state that this is located in. And the characters are definitely a big part of that. And I get the feeling that the passing of Atlas was a major reason for why Lackadaisy started, I don't know, losing business, I guess you could say. I don't know when these 3 came into the picture, Pepper, Freckle, and Rocky. I'm not sure when these 3 came into the picture, necessarily. I don't know. Maybe that's some backstory that we need to learn from future episodes. I could theoretically read the webcomic. I'm fully aware of that, but I won't, because I'd like to see what this animated series can do first. And I think either once it's finished or once it's announced that they're not going to be doing anything else, then I will probably read the webcomic. But I'd like to see what this does and then compare it to the source material. I don't know, maybe I can make an episode out of that. I probably could, honestly. Because, you know, I'm a writer, I'm an artist, I'm a webcomic artist. I have a webcomic. Asmer, what are you doing? And this is coming from the perspective of an individual who didn't know anything about Lackadaisy whatsoever. I say once more, I'd never even heard of it before it started popping up in everybody's feeds and on Twitter and stuff maybe a month ago. I'm sure that there was probably a lot more like trailers and, you know, sneak previews and stuff done beforehand, but I knew nothing about it until maybe a month ago. So yeah, wow, that was really good. That was really good. The characters definitely sold it and were entertaining, and the story is interesting enough, especially given how closely tied it is with actual historical events. And the designs and the backdrops and the landscapes, the colors and details of everything are just gorgeous. Absolutely. The team that worked on this did such a great freaking job with it. I absolutely love it. I'm so glad I decided to watch this. My voice is starting to fail a little bit, and I still have some sushi to eat and some Sprite to drink. Seems like a weird combination. That could be, but I have water too, so you got that. I wonder when they'll come out with more. Ho ho ho.